Greetings, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends. Welcome to Spoiler Sleepover, part of the Nerdcast Network. Join your hosts, Jason, Michael, and Rob, as they bring you on a slash-tastic adventure through cinema. Now, enjoy the show. It'll be a real scream of a time.
Okay, so let's do 1, 2, 3. Sweet, we didn't need to do that, but we did it. All right, everybody, welcome back. Season 2.
Season 2.
This is our first official, well, I guess technically it's our second official audio only because we did Deadstream.
Yes.
As our first official, but this is our first official in season 2.
What a strange one that was. Holy crap.
And it happens to be one of the hosts of the Dead Body Bathtub podcast's favorite episodes.
Hey.
I really enjoyed that one.
Nice.
But yeah, welcome back. So if you caught our stream, our first official episode 1 stream last week, you kind of got the lowdown of what's going to be happening this season. So we won't dive in too much into that, but we are going more or less more audio. You'll get 2, maybe 3 live streams a month. They won't be normal. We're going to have our guests come on for live streams. We have some real special ones. And we have technically our third member, Chris O'Brocki. It's not even a secret. He's going to be coming back quite a bit season 2. We've at least got him lined up for 2. One more happening this spooky month.
I feel like it's great that we made it through season 1 and yet still in season 1 made a third host somehow.
I mean, if you really look at it, all the time you were away, we made a lot of hosts.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what happens when I go away for 2 months, 3, 4, 5, however many months it is at this point.
Yeah, and that's where we'll be taking our season break when you're taking breaks from now on. So summers will be kind of ghost town. I might jump on and do a couple guest co-host ones.
Yeah.
Especially if there's anniversaries coming up, I think makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about one of my favorites as I drop the clipboard. Nailed it.
This is a professional setup here.
Oh, absolutely. We are talking about one of my personal favorite horror movies of all time. It is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, from 1986.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
Which happens to be, as you know, what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable month, maybe 2. Kind of just plugging through our personal top 3s. Mm-hmm. We're going to try and save at least my franchise one as the last one. Jason Michael's a little
all over the place.
We have a lot of Universal Monsters to talk, which is going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get into that. But before we jump into this, let's talk about a little bit of what's been keeping us up at night. I know there has been a big lull and there's been a lot of stuff going on, but let's get into that.
I'm having a bit of a slow start to spooky season with watching stuff. I did watch the Christian propaganda horror movie Nefarious, and I am pleasantly surprised to say that it was really good. The forefront of the movie, I mean, there's mainly just 2 main actors in the movie. It's just the 2 of them sitting in a room, and their acting was phenomenal. If you took the end of the movie and didn't just shove the Christian propaganda, everyone can get saved shit down your throat at the end, I think it would have done way better than it ended up doing. I'm still listening to Holly, the audiobook, the new Stephen King audiobook. It's really good. I think I have 4 hours left of listening, so I'm coming up on the end of it, and it's still fantastic. If you love Stephen King, if you've read Mr. Mercedes or anything like that, and you love Holly Gibney, I highly suggest this one. It's it's a lot of fun, and the big bads are not what you're expecting. So it's been good. I also started watching season 3. I watched the first episode of season 3 of Chucky, which just got dropped. And it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't want to spoil anything for this one, because if you are following the series, then you're not going to see the first episode coming. I didn't, that's for sure. It's really, really good. I mean, aside from that, I started a new job, so I haven't had a whole lot of time, but to watch anything new. But that's where I'm at. I know I'm gonna be watching Spirit Halloween. The movie just got added to Shudder, so shout out to Shudder.
I have been keeping plenty busy, especially for the wonderful spooky month, playing lots of different Halloween video games or horror video games. We got a lot planned for the month over on twitch.tv/feistycheese with zombies, phasmophobia, ghost hunting, things like that. But as for film and movies, I yearly do a 31 days of October or 31 days of Halloween horror movie, Halloween movie, spooky movie, watch along marathon, essentially. So every single day, I do a different horror/Halloween movie. For the first day of October, we did Jason Lives, part 6 of the Friday the 13th series. Second day was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The third day was Beetlejuice, which happens to be my mother's favorite horror movie, or Halloween movie, if you will. Her second favorite, which was the fourth day, which was her birthday, is Hocus Pocus. And the fifth is It Chapter 2. I've seen the first one, and the second one is all sorts of messed up. And then the sixth day was Drag Me to Hell. Seventh day, still up in the air as the time of this recording. Ooh. All right, let's do this. At the top of my notes, and it's all scribbles because Chicken Scratch is king, I just straight up wrote this fucking rules, because this is my favorite Friday the 13th. Even past the first one. It's one of the oldest ones I remember seeing. It's got the start of Zombie Jason. It's got just Tommy Jarvis, like actual Tommy Jarvis, Tom Matthews. It's fantastic from start to finish. Upon rewatching it, it is totally campy, and I don't think that ruins it for me. I think that actually improves it.
Yeah, I mean, from the break, the start of the movie forward, I mean, it seems the first 20 minutes of the movie is in fast forward.
Yep.
It's just like, all right, he's back, kill, and he moves so fucking fast.
Yeah, for a corpse.
So fast.
Holy shit. Movie starts off with a spooky thunderstorm with Tom Matthews, nice, and Tommy Jarvis and Alan Hawes, which didn't know his name for the longest time. You actually had to look it up because I don't recall him saying it.
Yeah.
Except for when he just screamed Hawes.
Hawes!
Yeah. But
who looks like Tim Robinson.
Yes, he does. You know how to drive? No. No, I don't.
Are you sure about that?
So Tommy at least they're driving to the cemetery where Jason is buried. And he just wants to see his dead body.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure he's dead, even though he's got some stuff to later desecrate the body. But at the same point, Alan wants nothing to do with it because he's like, this is not a good idea in any way, shape, or fucking form. But
he still goes along for the ride because that's how you know he's a good friend.
Yep. So they go in, and it's like, cool, there's the grave. Can we go now? It's like, no, I got to see the body. God damn it. It is late o'clock at night, storming its ass off right now, and you want us to dig 6 feet underground all the way around this fucking coffin. Sure. Okay, great, whatever. So they start digging, and they find the coffin, Alan hands Tommy the crowbar very reluctantly. Like, he crosses his arms and goes, no, I don't want it.
No.
Basically like a child, just, I'm not going to hand you the crowbar. But made it very apparent of just going, just want you to know this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is a horrible, horrible idea. So Tommy pries open the coffin, sees the maggot-covered corpse of Jason, which every time I see maggots now, I've only seen like fully encountered maggots once in my life, and I remember it was the most putrid smell.
Oh yeah.
Every time I see it, I kind of get that smell coming back, so I'm sitting there going,
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Connecticut. A majority of my life at like my grandmother's house, and we had like kind of woods behind her house. And the first time I experienced maggots were just in a rotted log.
yeah,
So it didn't smell terrible. It smelled like old wood, but I've definitely seen them in like dead animals.
Yep.
And it's more the animal smell than anything else that
Yeah.
gets you.
mine was in a trash bag on, I think it was old steak.
Oh, delicious.
Oh yeah, no, we used to have a, we called it the garbage hut, where it was like a small little shelter that my dad and uncle built out back to put our garbage so animals wouldn't get into it.
Gnarly.
Yeah, and when we would take things out, I pulled one out and the cap came off of the cover, or the can, and it was just blah, 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 blah.
That's so nasty.
Oh yeah, no, I was not a fan of it. But anyway,
Yeah.
tangents, we love tangents. So, uncovers the corpse, and it's like, great, cool, there's Jason, can we go now? And he's like, nah. He starts having flashbacks to part 4 with Corey Feldman just screaming die as he's chopping him with a machete.
Best part.
He remembers that Jason killed his mother, tried to hurt his sister, and then in the forgotten about part 5, but it's briefly mentioned, killed a bunch of his friends or people that he was with at like the halfway house
Right.
or whatever that thing was. A house for troubled youth, essentially.
Right.
So he has all that coming back to him. So he goes and grabs the most awesome weapon that I've seen Jason use up to this point personally. It's a broken piece of wrought iron gate from the cemetery. He just goes to town stabbing Jason's body.
Yeah.
Just being like, I hate you, shut up.
Alan just goes, oh shit.
Yep.
So it's just like, yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure everybody thought, oh shit, the minute he hulked out and ripped a piece of fence off.
Yeah, because, it must be an old cemetery because he pulled that thing off with practical ease.
Yeah.
It's quite astonishing. Or Tommy's been lifting since he was a kid. And
His biggest struggle was the vines that were attached to it. He grabs the pole and there's a bit of a struggle. I'm like, yeah, the vines, they'll do the trick.
yeah. So he comes over, stabs Jason a bunch, which continuity, I love it. You can see the puncture wounds later on Jason.
Yep.
But then he gets out of the hole and leaves the post in there. And in the most Frankenstein thing, as he goes to get the jerry can full of gas, lightning strikes the post. Strikes it at least 2 times from what I remember. And then eyeball opens. And it's awesome. As soon as Tommy goes back, he puts on gloves, which is a smart idea because that fucking post was probably extremely hot.
It was smoking.
Yeah. So he pulls that out and just goes, all right, cool. We don't have to worry about anything like that. He starts climbing out and boom, zombie Jason shows up. Starts trying to grab him, pull him in. Alan's screaming his head off. Oh my God, terrifying. Tommy gets away. I keep wanting to call him just Tom because his actor's name is Tom.
Yeah.
Not helpful.
Thomas.
Change your name, Thomas, or Momus Tatthews.
Momus Tatthews.
That took way too long to come up with. So he scurries away. Jason crawls out of the hole and starts walking at him. And this is like, since part 4, the longest we've seen him without a mask, and it's even more terrifying.
Yeah, I mean,
because he wasn't unmasked in part 5 in that flashback.
no.
It was just Roy.
Yeah, and he's unmasked, but he's not like fully shown unmasked because the lighting, which is something you brought up before we started recording, is the lighting's so dark throughout this film.
Yeah.
Not in like a bad way. It's not like Alien vs. Predator 2 bad.
Yeah, it's a realistic way. It's instead of just like blasting a bunch of floodlights into the woods so you can record, it looks like it's just a full moon for at least the 2 nights that this movie takes place on.
Whoever did the lighting just killed it.
Yeah,
Did
because
such
like
an amazing job, pun intended.
the dark things are dark. Yeah, the dark things are dark. The light things are light. When you walk behind a tree, the shadows look great, and all of a sudden it's like boom, we only see what we need to see. So he starts walking at him. Tommy's soaking him with gasoline, and then tries to light a match. But then, of course, when there's thunder and lightning happening in the storm, here's the rain finally. The conveniently timed rain, which I'm perfectly okay with, because it makes Jason just stand there and go, you gonna do now, bitch? Fuck you gonna do now?
I mean, even if he was able to light him on fire, at this point he's reanimated.
Yeah.
And he would just be on fire and reanimated.
Yeah, so he's just standing there staring at him, and here comes Alan. And then Alan comes up trying to be the hero, smashes a shovel on the back of Jason's head. Jason barely even flinches. He turns around and just punches through his stomach.
Yeah.
He's got something in his hand. It basically just it kind of looks like his brain, but it's obviously not.
No.
It's just like a handful of guts and intestines. And then he winds up falling into the grave, which is quite far away.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to punch through somebody, you've got enough force to force punch somebody.
Yeah.
I feel like you could punch somebody across a graveyard pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah. And it's easy cleanup, too, because then he lands directly into the coffin, and that bitch closes.
Done and done. So then Tommy runs off, and Jason puts on his iconic hockey mask. As he picks it up, puts it on, grabs the post, and turns around for a nice title card.
Yeah, 007.
Fucking slash with the blood, and it's great. Yeah. After our wonderful title card, Tommy winds up hauling ass to the local sheriff's department of Forest Green, which basically they've changed it a few times at this point, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But to get away from the whole Camp Blood, Camp Crystal Lake kind of thing. Basically comes careening in through the door, and the sheriff stands up and draws his gun. And it's like, what the hell are you doing?
That's one way, like, who pulls a gun in a police...
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you are the sheriff and you are completely dead-ass asleep.
Yeah. Well, then he immediately turns around and threatens to paint the walls with his brains.
You know, that's fair. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is a cop in the 80s, not a cop in now.
Got him.
Too topical? Sorry. No, I'm not.
I do have written on here worst sheriff.
Yeah.
Because he's just completely horrible and a awful person.
He definitely needs, like, anger management.
Yeah. I mean, I believe the man's got a lot on his mind. He's got a kid who's into psychopaths and doesn't want to... We'll touch on that later.
Well, there's also the fact that, I don't know if you noticed, but in the background, he has, like, a bunch of war medals behind him.
That's fair.
And, like, pictures from the war and stuff, which you don't notice until there's, like, later in, there's a scene where his daughter's sitting at the desk, and they're right behind her. Like, they're in frame, they're clear as day. I'm like, maybe he's got some PTSD.
Probably.
But at the same time, who's that just angry about a legend? Just like, no!
Yeah, he doesn't believe Tommy that Jason's there, doesn't believe a single solitary word, and he's not about it. So he basically just threatens to lock him up, threatens to blast his brains all over the goddamn ceiling. And then Deputy Colon?
I don't know.
Colone. Colon. Either way, Barney Fife fucking shows up.
Yeah.
And then basically he comes in going, you won't believe the weather out there, with a bunch of empty containers. Because Tommy then rushes the armory locker to grab a shotgun to go kill Jason. The sheriff throws him into Cologne, and he drops all the containers with, like, damn near nothing in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they lock him up for the night. There's great kills in this movie. Starting with two of the counselors that start rolling up, and they're talking about, like, how the hell did we get there? The weather's horrible, blah, 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 blah. Jason is hauling through the woods at this point with his wrought iron fence gate, and just finds the car, the little VW Bug of Darren and Elizabeth.
I just love the fact that neither of their names are actually even necessary, because this is the scene they're in.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they're trying to read directions, and then she slams on the brakes, and he goes, why did you do that? Because I've seen enough horror movies to know that somebody in a mask is not friendly.
Right.
And it's just Jason standing in the middle of the road in the woods.
Like the Black Knight.
Yep. None shall pass. But he's like, just drive at him. He'll move. Nobody wants to die. You're not wrong. But, man, foreshadowing for you. So she floors it. Jason doesn't move except for the actor. You can see a slight little flinch.
Yeah, and
It's understandable. I mean...
I'm also curious if it was intentional.
Maybe it was rigor mortis just going... Gah, gah.
Yeah. He's still getting his motor functions
Yeah.
back. He's killed a person
I can
so far.
feel everything. So he doesn't move. They lay on the horn. He stabs the front tire. Like, oh, fuck. Turns out, Darren has a gun underneath stuff in the glove compartment. Goes out, threatens him.
Real close to him, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Holding a tiny gun with both hands.
Yeah. Listen, man's never shot a gun before.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Owns it, but's never shot it.
Yep. So then,
That's a bad gun owner.
yeah, Jason then taunts him basically like, what you gonna do now, bitch? And smashes the front, or the passenger side headlight.
Jason hates this car.
Seriously. And then stabs him, flings him over him like he's using a pitchfork with hay. And then she starts screaming, Elizabeth, and then smashes the windshield. Still hates this car.
Oh, yeah.
Smashes the windshield. She falls into a puddle and starts rifling through her pockets to start offering him, like, no, don't kill me. I'll give you money. She starts looking at her purse for a solid 7 seconds, pulls out $40 and an American Express card. She's like, I'll give you money. Jason's gone.
Yeah.
He's like Batman. And she's like, oh, okay, the nightmare's over. No, he jumps from the fucking sky, which is not the first time he does it during this movie.
No.
Drops from the sky and then stabs her in the face as she screams in the puddle. And just stands there watching the bubbles stop. And that is the end of the first night. Because then we are back in the sheriff's department with Captain PTSD and his psychopathic horned up daughter. And her friends.
And her friends.
Yeah, so we're introduced to the newest lambs to the slaughter for this movie with, I don't even remember all of their names because I don't think a lot of them were even said.
Yeah, it's Rip Jeans.
Court. That's
yeah.
that's one of them. Court, Megan.
Lisa from Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
And then the chick with the weird eyebrows who looks like she's 40.
Yeah. So all of them are totally not teenagers. But besides that, they come in basically going, hey, Dad. Or, well, Megan does at least. Imagine if they all came
They're
in.
like, hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad, can you... Oh, for fuck's sake, you again? Jesus Christ.
Get off the counter.
Your mother ever heard of a sewing machine, son? Huh? So Megan's like, Dad, can you at least, like, look for Darren and Elizabeth? And Court, sitting on the counter, goes, can you put out, like, a all-points bulletin? Which I didn't know what APB meant until I rewatched this movie.
Oh, boy.
So all-points bulletin, whether or not that's true or not, I'm going to say it is.
It is indeed. It
Hey.
also just shows how young you truly are.
Listen, I've never had an APB put out for me, so I think I'm okay.
There's plenty of time.
So they're there basically being like, oh, well, where's our friends? And then Tommy wakes up in the cell and goes, I don't know if your friends are alive. They might be. Hey, but if you're going to be counselors at that lake, they're probably dead.
Yeah.
And then Megan goes, tell me more.
Yep. Panties hit the floor.
It's like, what do you mean, person in the cell? What could possibly have happened to my friends? And Dad's like, get the fuck away from him. I'm going to put you in there, in the cell next to him.
I like dangerous guys.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. So basically, Tommy gives a little bit of expose, and Megan's like, yes, tell me more. Basically, Dad just says, get the fuck out of here. I don't want anything to do with you kids right now. Just go. We'll find your friends when we can.
Yeah.
And he basically just takes Tommy out and goes, we're going to just drive you to the end of my jurisdiction and send you on your way.
Yep.
And I hope we never see you again. That's great. Fantastic. Moving on. Sick.
Yeah.
At this time, there's like 3 other stories happening. So there's the Tommy Jarvis story with the cop. There's the
Camp counselors.
Yep, there's the camp counselors where Megan then gives a little bit more exposition as to why Jason was killing in the first place, why his mother was killing in the first place, why he's dead in the first place. And it's like, there's only one thing worse than an undead killer. She points out the window and conjures a bus full of campers for the summer.
Yeah, she's magic.
Which we will come back to several times, but at the same point, this movie has already given off major fall vibes. I haven't looked up when this movie was filmed, but it's supposed to be taking place in the summer, and just there's crinkly old leaves on the ground, so either they did no maintenance,
Right.
or...
And the snow didn't take care of them either.
Yeah, but it's old crinkly leaves, it's windy as fuck, there's later points in the movie where they just go, you know how cold it is out there? Dude, unless it's early June, I think you'll be fine.
Right.
So
then there's the other pointless, other than the fact there's like one really cool kill, there's the pointless like business retreat side story
Yep.
with paintball.
Yep.
It has no place in the movie.
I don't even know where they are in the woods at that point. They're not at the camp.
No, they're at earshot for a lot of other people, though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone's at earshot for each other because we hear screaming multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And people are close enough to hear it.
Yeah.
But
So we'll start with the quickest one. The groundskeeper for the cemetery that Tommy and Alan went to where Jason was buried.
yeah,
Basically he's freaking out going, oh, they're going to blame me for this, that damn high school kids, blah, 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 blah. Didn't even have the decency to put him back in right. And you just see Alan's foot hanging out the side of the coffin.
yeah.
So he starts burying him. He's like, I'm not going to get blamed for this.
Dude looks like Mel Gibson now.
He seriously does. And then we have one. This movie is
Probably drinks like Mel Gibson now, too.
Ew. This movie is really meta in a lot of references and also just like takes a jab at the audience a few times. But this one's my personal favorite where he goes, why'd they have to go and dig up Jason? Stops, looks directly in the lens of the camera and goes, some folks have a strange idea of entertainment.
Yes, we do.
Because this was the first movie with actual Jason after the final chapter, part 4, where it was supposed to end. They came back for part 5. It wasn't actually Jason.
No.
People wanted real Jason back, so they brought him back as a zombie. So he's just sitting there going, God damn it, you guys just couldn't let the man be dead? So that is the quickest one of these storylines done. The retreat, or company outing, there's 2 guys walking around basically being like, well, if you got your sails up, you'd be able to win. It's like, but I'm just trying to eat a sandwich. Fucking let me eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
You do you, buddy. They get sniped by one of the other members of their company, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's a guy running around in the woods. He looks like Rick Moranis to me.
Yeah, he's rather misogynistic, too.
No, not him. Not him.
Not that way?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the goober.
Oh, yeah. Hard goober with the like military music playing in the background. No, I specifically wrote, where is he? The machete from The Misogynist.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just...
We both wrote misogynist.
Yeah, he's out there just going, stupid woman, but should be back in the kitchen where she belongs. Doesn't even belong in this game. And it's like, oh, buddy.
You know, the thought process of people saying that back in the 80s was like kind of almost semi-normal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't accepted, but it was normal. We get into the 90s and it kind of gets nixed a bit.
Yeah.
Early 2000s nixed. Now we're in 2023. That's a normal thing to hear now. Like there's podcasts of people talking shit about women and shit like that now. It's fucking ridiculous how we're all these years later. We've regressed. It's insanity. Man, movies are a time capsule of bullshit. We clearly don't learn from the past.
You knew. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Jason grabs his arm, rips off his arm, and flings his whole body into another tree. It's got like a stick pointing out of it where he skewers his head onto it. It breaks off, and there's for some strange reason, a smiley face underneath where his head hit.
That's my favorite scene in the entire movie, too.
I mean,
It's a blood-smeared smiley face.
the blood makes sense, but the smiley face doesn't, but I'm okay with it for some reason.
I feel like it was already part of the tree. Like somebody carved it in
the
there.
smiley face.
Yeah.
It just happened to be where somebody's head would land.
Just makes it that much
Yeah.
better.
You think the kid who's like, my first pocket knife, I'm going to carve a smiley face into the tree. Man, I hope nobody has their face thrown into this later in life.
It's just blood splatter.
Little do you know, little Danny.
Who painted my smiley red? Actually, by
There's a body!
by the time it dries, it'd just be a darker brown.
Yeah. So, yep, kids' harmless little carving in the tree turned out to be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jason drops down again from a tree and decapitates the 3 other people, the woman who shot them and the 2 people who were arguing at the beginning of it. Straight up triple kill.
Yeah.
Just straight up decapitates 3 people. They all drop, and here's Rick Moranis, the goober, with a paintball gun. Shoots him. Jason looks down and goes, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ow!
Could you imagine if he said that?
Or even if it's just,
Oh, son of a bitch!
ow! Right in the sternum. Oh!
Why would you do this?
Yeah, but he just looks down and looks back up at the guy, and the guy's oh shit. He's one of the only people I feel bad for in this movie because he actually runs away and the actor portrays it so well with actual fear.
Yeah.
And he's running, screaming for help in the middle of the woods where's the rest of their company?
They're all dead.
They're either all dead or they packed up and it's just like, we got everybody fine. Just took off back to their office.
This is the 80s version of a startup, and that was their first outing.
Yeah, but yep, he runs, and we don't find out what happens until later. Come back to Tommy Jarvis. He's driving, sees the cemetery sign, hooks a hard left into there, and the cops are like, fucking knew it. Hit him with the lights and the cherries, or the sirens and the cherries, right?
Yeah.
Hit him with the sirens and the cherries, which I don't know if I ever needed to hear it, but I don't know if I'll ever unhear it. I'll be driving past a
Cherries.
cop and go, "You got cherries on your roof."
No one says that anymore.
Yeah, that was in 80s.
Yeah.
They pull a pretty Scooby-Doo-esque chase scene through the cemetery, which it looks like they run past the same section at least 2 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but here's Tommy. The sheriff disappears. The fucking deputy's chasing behind him the entire time. Couple zigs and zags in and out of different rows, and then blindsided by the sheriff, tackles him to the ground. He goes, "I have to see Jason. Blah, 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 blah. He's out there." And it's like, well, he's over there, and he must have gotten cold during the night after you dug him up and pulled the dirt back over him because he's covered.
Yep.
And he's like, somebody covered him back up. Tommy tries to get away. The deputy pulls out his gun, aims it at his head, and has a giant laser scope.
It's bigger than the fucking gun.
It is! It's just sitting on top of the gun. It would make sense if it's like a Dirty Harry sized gun. Nope. Just little and biggest fucking laser scope. And he goes, "Oh, now look what you did." He's been dying to try out that new laser sight of his. Mail order laser sight.
Oh my god.
And he goes, "Wherever the red dot goes, you bang.
You bang.
You bang."
He's clearly compensating for something.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He's also just... He's totally a Barney Fife of this movie. Because there's scenes later where he's just doing stupid shit, and he's got... Nobody respects him in any way, shape, or form.
Understandably so.
Yeah. And then the drunkard Mel Gibson shows up just after he filled in Jason's grave.
He doesn't remember.
No. I mean, he's drunk. But he goes, "Did you cover up Jason's grave?" And he goes, "What? Jason? What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
What do I look like?
A fart
head.
They bring him away, and he goes,
Oh.
"Do you think, or does he think I'm a fart head?"
Fart head.
There is, after he says, "Do you think I'm a fart head?" It's a quick cut to the campers at camp, and they're all screaming, "Yes!"
That's right.
Got him!
We do think you're a fart head, sir.
Yeah.
You drunk son of a bitch.
So, after that, it's nighttime. They basically send Tommy on his way. It's like, "I never want to see you again." As the sign says, "Thank you for visiting Forest Green.
Yep.
Drive safe. Get the fuck out of here." And that's the last we see of Tommy Jarvis for actually a decent chunk of time in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, all things considered, he's gone. And I was like, oh yeah, Tommy's part of this.
Yep. Yeah, and there's just we get even more like passable characters. The newly engaged couple in the woods.
Yep.
For no reason.
So yeah, we're introduced to a bunch of different characters now after Tommy is kicked out of Forest Green. Like the newlywed couple, newly engaged couple.
Yep.
Who are just having a nice picnic with some champagne.
In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
For no fucking... Did you see a blanket?
Yes.
Oh, there was a blanket. Okay.
Yes.
I did not notice a blanket. I was like, these fuckers are just sitting on the wet ground?
Yeah, no, it was when they start running away, I'm pretty sure you could see it.
Oh, okay.
But we have Captain Stumbles, the drunk Mel Gibson caretaker, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Stumbling through.
Uncaretaker.
Yep. Here comes the uncaretaker, the Mel Gibson lookalike, just wandering through the woods, and then finds himself, he can't find the road. He has no idea where the road is. He goes, where'd the road go? But right as he's looking around, a rock just comes stumbling down the hill. And it's very obvious that was Jason. We look up the hill and we don't see anything, but I like to imagine Jason just goes, "Oh, fuck," and just hides behind a tree going, I hope he didn't see me. Oh.
My goddamn rigor mortis.
Yeah. Just knocked a rock down. I'm supposed to be stealthier than this. Just imagine him just going, I can see you.
Jason just covers his eyes like a little kid. No, you can't.
No, you can't. I can't see you. Shut up.
Yeah.
So then, whatever he names his bottle, it's like Kathy or something.
I think it's Kathleen.
Yeah, and he goes,
Yeah.
You led me astray. Finishes it, throws it over his head. No sound. No shatter. Turns around. Jason has it.
You want to know why? Because Jason hates littering.
Damn right.
Yeah, he said go green, bitch. So he stabbed him with the bottle.
It's true. Smokey's out here preventing forest fires. Jason's out here preventing littering.
Yeah, see, Jason's a good guy.
That would be a sick horror movie. It's Jason Voorhees and Smokey the Bear, but it's like Cocaine Bear.
Oh my god, I'm here for it.
Where he's just unhinged. He's like, you left your fire on overnight.
With the state of horror movies the past few years.
Yeah, right?
I mean, we've got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which is getting a part 2.
Sweet Jesus.
I'm all for it. The first part was great, which, stay tuned later this season. Woohoo! Yeah, could you imagine Smokey the Bear as a horror movie?
I find he would find a way to use fire to kill somebody, obviously.
Well, I feel like the only premise of that is the forest burns down with him in it, and he reanimates, and he comes back, and he has fire abilities. He wields fire.
All that popped into my head was Incineroar.
Yeah,
He's a fucking tiger Pokemon, but I just envision him as a bear.
oh my god! See, I grew up with the OG Pokemon. I still play Pokemon Go. I have no idea
You
what
old
half of these
bastard.
things are now.
Ooh, Jingly Keys.
Yeah.
Garbodor, it's a pile of garbage.
Yeah, there really is a fucking keychain Pokemon.
Yep, and the Chandelure is just the chandelier.
Oh my god, it's just ridiculous. I caught one in Pokemon Go the other day that just was like, this is a blank. Like, it was just another animal, and they just changed the name. I don't remember what it was, but my god. All right, Pokemon rant over.
So the newly engaged couple, the guy gets up, goes to check out the scream, which he heard, sees Jason like pull his machete out of the old guy, stop, and then just rigor mortis turn at him like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So he starts running, Jason starts following him. He's like, we gotta fucking go. We gotta go now. So they take off, sit very briefly on their nice little motorbike, and then they both get shish kebabbed with a machete.
Such an awesome kill.
It is.
That's why this movie has so many amazing multi-kills that are just so fast. Almost throwaways, too.
Yeah.
With 3 decapitations, then this one.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's a lot of the characters where it's like, they're just there. It doesn't really mean much, but it does.
I feel like a group of people sat down and they were like, all right, what are we going to do with this movie? And all they did was just write down cool ways to kill people
Yeah.
and then wrote a loose script around it. Because in reality, it's one very simple story.
Yeah, and it takes place over like a night and a half.
Yeah, Tommy shows up,
Resurrects Jason,
cop hates Tommy.
daytime, night with the finale of the movie. That's it.
Yep.
So anyway, we come back. There's Court, whose jeans are a fashion statement that
So-
every kid wanted. And they're like, oh, well, where did Court go? Oh, he had to go do some stuff. And turns out Court is with this random chick who we find out her name is Nikki, having unmarried sex in an RV in an 80s movie?
Not even that. They're
Unprotected?
not even that. They're having rhythmic intercourse.
Yep.
She's banging to the beat.
You gotta last for the rest of the song. How long is the rest of the song? It's got 10 minutes left. And you see his face go, oh, shit.
To be a teenager again.
You have to be a teenager with that fucking rolled up tank top just above his nipples.
Oh, he was so proud of his nipples.
Seriously. But then Jason's like, fucking teens having sex? Not in my fucking woods. Rips the goddamn power cord out of where the RV is parked. And then Court goes, I'm done. That was the end of the song, right? She's pissed off at him.
He
She
finishes
goes,
so quick.
Yeah.
Nobody finishes that quick. It was like a quick little spit of happiness, and then he was done.
all right, round 2.
That clap is going to be so loud.
Then this is one of the things we were talking about where it's totally fall when they record this, and it's fall, summer, if you will.
Right.
I don't think they ever said it was summer. I know they said summer camp. Maybe it was like, hey, let's reopen it, but during the fall.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I've been out of school for a lot of time. Is there a fall break? I don't think there's a fall break.
Nope. It's hop back into it. December, February, which feels weird, and then April, and then summer.
Right.
Basically, Nikki goes, oh, how'd that happen? The power cord fell out. Court, go outside and do it. And he goes, do you have any idea how cold it is out there? It's like, again, unless it's fucking early June or late August that this is happening, where, first off, if that's the start of your summer season, you're in enough trouble right there.
Oh, yeah.
Dude just goes, do you know how cold it is? Throws on a jacket, goes out there anyway. It's like, it should be sweltering. Should be.
Easily.
Yeah. So he's sneaking around, some good setup shots of like the woods with smoke or fog. It's looking all creepy. And then he picks up the cord and Nikki comes around going, what the hell's taking so long? Provides a false jump scare.
Yep.
And he goes, well, unless you want to look like the end of this cord and it's all broken and frayed and wires everywhere, it's like, we got to go now.
Yeah.
Then he definitely either heard something or saw something, or his mind's playing tricks on him. Before they go back in, he goes, somebody's out there, Nikki. We need to go. Then...
He doesn't know how to start an RV.
No. He's turning it over. It's not turning. He's like, you've got to be kidding me. And then Nikki just goes, flip the switch from AC to RV drive. And then it fires right up. He fucking does the jankiest 3-point turn. I don't know how this man got his license, but somehow did. And basically, she goes tumbling all through the hallway of the RV, forwards and backwards. It's
Cue Benny Hill theme song.
So then he takes off down the road. He puts on some Alice Cooper, and then she starts walking up being like, get the fuck out of the driver's seat. And Jason throws open the bathroom door, pulls her in. Her foot must have caught the door or something, because you don't see any hand reach out and go, close that.
Yeah, they confused the hell out of me when it happened.
Yeah.
The door just shut on its own. It was like, how?
Yeah. And Court's up front just going like, oh, you having a good time back there? Oh, what, Nikki, you need to take a huge dump? You wouldn't mind somebody coming to take a peek? Or vice versa or something. It's like,
so
what
gross.
the fuck are you doing?
Who wants to... never mind.
So she's struggling and screaming in the bathroom. Music's cranked up into one of the cooler kills in this movie where he slams her head against the wall, and it's just her face indents out to create just an outline of the face on the outside of the RV. So essentially he comes out of the bathroom, stabs Court in the neck.
In the ear.
In the ear?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's in the ear.
See, it's cut in such a way where it looks like he gets him in the neck, but then, he does fall off to the side. That's right. And then RV goes off a dirt ramp, flips over, starts bursting into flames while Jason comes out of the top of the RV and then just goes, all right. Stands on top of the RV, looks all menacing and goes, how the fuck do I get down from here?
So at that point, too, is the first time that I noticed Jason has a fucking utility belt, like a fucking psychopathic Batman.
Yeah, so that was from The Misogynist in the Woods. They
That's
show
where
him
he
walking
got it.
forward with the machete. You're like, oh my god, Jason's got his machete. No, it's just some dude who's just angry at a woman.
It was so ridiculous because it was the first time I noticed he had it on. I'm like, where the fuck did he get this thing from? It's got the knife.
It's got the machete holster. It's got the throwing stuff.
Which
I think are like arrowheads?
Yeah, they were like, I guess they're darts. I don't fucking know.
Which, why would he have that in the paintball thing in the first place? I don't know.
None of it makes sense for him to have any of that.
But I love it anyway.
Yeah. He also has the knife back in the sheath when he gets out, which means after the crash, he went over and removed the knife from his ear.
Well, yeah, you need your stuff to get the killing going.
It's just fucking so... After a crash like that, I'm getting the fuck out.
Listen,
I don't know.
He didn't want to leave any evidence behind.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He needed his arsenal of death with him, I guess.
So we catch back up with Tommy Jarvis, who, again, this movie is very meta and has a bunch of different references. So one of my personal favorites is the general store that he's at, buying like chains and shit. And then he calls Megan, who's at the police station. The sheriff gets a phone call basically being like, hey, come out here. Found bodies with Jason's MO on it. They were the bodies of Darren and Elizabeth from the little buggy.
Yep.
So sheriff leaves. She stays there and starts trying to balance in a chair. Phone call comes through. It's Tommy talking to Megan on the phone outside of Karloff's General Merchandise.
Yeah.
And I noticed that and was like, oh, that's fucking sick.
I'd never noticed that before.
Yeah.
It's also been years since I've watched this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, years. So all of the Friday the 13th movies used to be like bedtime movies for me. I don't know why, but something about the ambient noise and the music and stuff
That's fair.
lulled me off to sleep.
I mean, this one definitely, because again, it's the most fall-seeming movie.
Yeah.
Like, there are shots where it's just little child's piano music and heavy gusts of wind with
Yeah.
leaves rustling. It's so soothing.
That opening score, too, it really reminded me of Child's Play. Which
Yeah.
I gotta take the time. I gotta look up to see if there's any chance it's the same composer.
Yeah.
But
So Karloff's General Store, and then she goes, "Where are you? I'll meet you out there." And then she drives out in her red. Can't remember what the hell. No, it was orange.
orange, yeah.
Yeah. But her car, and she's like, "Nobody drives this baby but me." And then loads up, and then she's like, my dad will recognize your truck from a mile away. We'll just go in my car. Which, now that I think about it, his truck is out there still somewhere. It's still at Karloff's General Merchandise.
Yeah.
So then it's a very, very jokey movie starting now, where she basically just starts off and then she goes, "Well, your job's to make sure there's no roadblocks." And he goes, "There's one right there."
Yeah.
She slams his head down into her crotch and it's a shot of a vag. They start driving away and it's like, "Stay down there." And he goes, "Whatever you say."
Yeah. Hairy situation.
Yep. It's a hairy situation right now. It's like, oh, sweet Jesus.
It's the 80s.
You're not wrong.
Every situation was hairy in the 80s.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
No,
Push jokes. So she pulls a right turn. The sheriff and the deputy have found the bodies and dismembered pieces of the Rick Moranis goober looking guy from
Yep.
Paintball. Basically going, "Tommy really wants us to believe this." The cops at the first roadblock called the sheriff and said, "Yep, there's a car, 2 people in it, somebody ducked down. Here's the make and model." And he goes, "That's my daughter's car."
That cop tries not to laugh.
"How do you want us to proceed?" "With caution, asshole." With extreme caution.
Open fire!
So she pulls around the right corner, has to power slide because there's a cop there with a shotgun aimed right at her. It's her dad.
Yeah. I'm telling you, her dad needs anger management.
Yep.
You don't point, your daughter's a walking red flag. That doesn't mean you point a shotgun at her, no matter who's in the car with her.
I was pointing it at Tommy. Yeah, but your daughter's still in the crossfire. Holy crap.
Literally.
Yeah. So they go back to the police station. Jason has made it to Camp Crystal Lake or Camp Forest Green.
Forest Green.
Forest Green. He basically looks at everything and just goes, "What? There's lights everywhere. There's a sign that says we practice inclusivity,
There's a bunch of others.
helpful stuff." And he's like, "Bullshit, didn't do that when I was here.
No.
What the hell?" We meet a little camper named Nancy.
Hey.
Shout out to Nightmare on Elm Street right there. Another reference. She's like, "I saw a monster. I saw a spooky man." And one of the counselors comes in and basically goes, "It's okay. We'll go out. We'll find him. It's probably just the boys playing tricks.
Right.
So let's not worry about it. Let's go stop them or playing tricks or whatever." And then you see Jason just pop up and go, "Oh, and they're gone. That's great. Wonderful." Cut back to the police station. The sheriff is real fucking fed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been fed up, but at this point in time, he's seething.
Yep. All bets are off at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Deputy, Megan, Sheriff, Tommy in the room, and basically being like, "You're gonna get locked up, and I swear to God, you will not, like, if I had you where I wanted you, you'd be being pumped full of formaldehyde right now."
Which is fucked.
That's like okay, argument over. Yes, sir. My bad. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna paint the walls with your brains.
Yep.
And now he's just like, "You'll be real dead."
Yeah, I will not bat an eye when I murder you.
Yeah.
Um,
Does it while he's still alive.
Yeah. And Megan's like, "But Dad, it wasn't him, blah, 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 blah." You don't know that, first off.
No.
Then they get a call. Oh, yeah, the sheriff says there's going to be deputies coming in from Carpenter.
Yeah.
So another one, John Carpenter.
We've gotten 3 references
Yep.
so far. I'm curious if there's more that we missed.
Most likely. There's got to
There
be.
has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very Frankenstein-y resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there's a kill coming up that reminds me of one of the ones from part 3.
Oh, there's a kill coming up that reminds me from a much later film, too. When we get to that, I'll bring it up and you'll be like, oh, shit. Like,
Yeah, I think I know exactly which one you're talking about, too. But they get a call saying, we found an RV. It's got Court and Nikki in it. It's like, oh, great. Look at what you done. And they go, Dad, when did that happen? Why does it matter? When the fuck did it happen between 8:30 and 9? Tommy was with Megan in that time frame.
Yep.
Dad starts going, maybe there's some legitimacy. There we go. Flawless. Nailed it first try.
Leave it
To
in.
this whole thing. And basically goes, put him in the cell until I come back. Not going to fucking deal with it right now.
Yeah.
He takes off. Meanwhile, there's still more stuff happening at the camp where again, we don't know their names, like Lisa from Saved by the Bell and
Yep.
Eyebrows.
Eyebrows, Mick, 40-year-old.
Yep. They believe something is happening outside, and Lisa from Saved by the Bell is like, oh my God, someone's out there. You better stop. It's like, it's just Court. He's messing with you. So she pulls it's either I completely missed it because I don't care for branding, but it was like either a old Pepsi can or probably a beer of sorts. So as she just starts pouring out the window,
Yep.
basically being like, oh, he's right over the side. Nope. So then Jason basically pulls her out the window and spins her head around with a audible crack
Yeah.
to the point where I'm pretty sure it's off now.
He just goes, have you ever seen The Exorcist
It's a
before?
surprise! And then
You're Regan now.
yeah, and then the Eyebrows inside just goes, oh, you guys, quiet down. You're going to wake the kids. And Jason just goes, let's drop that head now.
So she smiles and lays her head back down too. That's the best part about it. It's just like, she's like, oh, they're being funny.
Yeah.
Night, night.
No, you poor soul.
Dumbass.
So we see a machete cam that is like, oh, Jason's in there. Jason's going up to the next camp or next counselor. No, it's just Nancy who has found the bloody machete.
Yeah. There's a scary man outside.
Oh, you are a child with the bloody machete. Okay, and now your fingerprints are on this. And Eyebrows puts her fingerprints on it too. So great. Way to go, guys. Either way, now they're both accomplices in a murder.
Yeah, buddy.
So Nancy is brought back to bed, and we see a super cool shot where Eyebrows stands up and Jason's just on the other side of the window.
So uncomfortable.
There's a note, which I'll explain why when I get there. But Jason basically just follows Eyebrows from the outside in a great... It kind of reminded me almost of Creature from the Black Lagoon in a way. Where it's like... Where Julia Adams is swimming on top and the creature's kind of mimicking her.
Such an amazing shot in that movie, too.
So, like, Jason's kind of following right behind her as she's walking through. And then she goes back to her cabin, which the door won't close, and it just keeps opening up and, like, fluttering in the breeze. Jason comes in and we'll get to it, but he kills her.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Back at the precinct, meanwhile, love is blossoming in the air, and it's disgusting. Fucking Deputy Fife over here slams a bug on some paperwork, brushes off the bug, and then puts the paper in a folder.
What a weird-looking bug, too.
Right?
I have no idea what it was. It's a beetle of some sort, I'm assuming.
No animals were harmed in the making of this. Wrong!
Wrong!
It's like the snake in part 1 all over again. The beetle's handler's pissed.
Yep. It's the snake handler. It's the same guy. He's like, this is the last time!
I fucking gave you one more chance! God damn it!
That was my favorite bug!
I've been burned before!
You have no idea how hard it is to train a beetle.
We're doing great.
Yeah, buddy.
So, Megan's sitting there sketching things, and Tommy's like, oh, what are you drawing? It's like, nothing. Wouldn't you want to know? At this point, is like, do they have some plan in mind? Or is this like, is she starting to not trust him and not like him?
She wrote something,
Yeah.
and I have no idea what I honestly looked away from the screen for a split second and then
Yeah.
saw her turn the page and it said something about kill.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he picks on her
Yeah.
and she throws her sketchbook at him.
Which he picks up and she goes, give it back. And he goes, come and get it.
Yeah.
Ooh, eyebrows. Ooh. And then,
Tommy.
yeah.
Oh,
she comes
Tommy.
What a card. She comes over. He grabs her, starts kissing her through the bars. Fife goes, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. Looks up. He goes, Megan, get away from there. It's at this point, it turns into a dark episode of Drake and Josh. Because the deputy runs over, moves Megan away, and like, I'll punch you, silly, Tommy.
I'll punch you, silly.
And then Megan grabs the gun, points it at him, turns on his laser pointer. He turns around and goes, Megan,
Yeah.
put that down. Don't be silly, Megan. Meggie, he calls her.
He calls her Missy at one point, too.
Oh my god.
He forgot her name.
Yep.
You're fired.
And then Tommy goes, wherever the red dot goes, ya bang.
Ya bang. She bang. She bangs.
Oh, baby, she moved. Aw, William Hung.
Oh, man.
So basically, they unlock the cell, put the deputy in there, lock it, drop the keys in the middle, and they start making their way to Camp Crystal Lake.
Yep.
Nothing really important in the conversation that happens besides, character development. She's letting somebody else drive her car.
Such pointless development, too, for the end of the movie. Like,
Right?
it means nothing.
Yeah.
At all.
So
Because neither of them trust each other
no.
from that point on either.
Yeah, really. So then the cops show up. Jason is in the girls' cabin
Mm-hmm.
and is walking in. Again, a fall-ass movie with wind blowing a bunch of dead leaves in. It looks really nice,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not summertime.
Hell no.
Essentially, he walks in, goes up to the fireplace when he's just looking around. Nancy's sitting there, and one of the things that Eyebrows told her was like, just pray. Like, all the monsters will go away. It's like,
Yeah.
No, he's not here for you right now.
No.
But she
There
starts
is no
praying, just
God
like,
here.
yeah, as I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. Blah, blah, blah. And Jason I wrote this down. It's uncomfortably close.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's a killer. But he just goes,
Okay, bye.
hello. Gets all sorts of right up in her face. And then he hears the cops and he takes off. And she goes, oh, cool, the monster's gone. Looks under the bed. No monsters under the bed.
It works.
Yes. Thank you, Lord Jeebus. So the cops show up and basically being like, all right, if you see anything, holler. Okay? Holler, but don't wake the kids.
Yeah. Do not wake the kids.
But shout if you see something.
Please. Thank you.
Kids, don't worry about this.
Yeah.
Sheriff, I found a dead body. It's another kid. Yeah, okay. Nailed it, sport. Way to go. So, cops are running through. One of the kills that reminds me of part 3, there's one cop that makes it down to the dock.
Yep.
And he's like looking around with a flashlight. Jason walks up in the woods, pulls from the utility belt the little throwing arrow, whatever it is.
Right.
We finally get to see, oh, that's what's in there. The guy turns over and goes, hey! I don't know if that picked it up, but we're leaving it in. My stomach just grumbled really loud.
It's been talking a lot.
It has. It won't shut the fuck up. Either way, he goes, hey! Points the flashlight at Jason, and Jason just throwing arrow knife straight into his head. And it reminds me of like the 3D harpoon gun.
Yeah. No, it's exactly that. That's even during that part, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this shot, and then it wasn't the same shot, and I was like, that's because it's from part 3.
Yep.
It is the same shot, except it's not the same shot.
Yeah, and kudos to the stunt guy on this one, because he completely throws himself in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Lands hard in the boat right behind him.
It was awesome.
It could have gone wrong in so many ways, but I hope the one we saw was the one it took.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can't imagine just knocking his head on the side of that boat.
Or his neck.
Oh,
Game over.
yeah, right? So that's one cop done. The sheriff goes into the cabins. Boys' cabin, all good. Girls' cabin, realizes there's a camper missing.
Yeah.
And of course, it's Nancy.
Fucking Nancy.
Fucking Nancy. So again, Nancy runs up on this other officer going, there's a scary man out there. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what does the scary man look like? And then Jason comes out of the woods behind him. And it was basically like that kind of moment.
Yeah.
Where officer fires a few bullets into him, and you can see like the bullets coming through. It looks great.
Yeah, they show it from the back too, which is awesome.
All the squibs and everything. But then Jason picks up the officer and crushes his head.
Yep.
Which you were telling me there's a whole other scene of that.
Yeah, so they did a front and back shot. All we get in the movie is the back shot, but they did a front shot, and I don't remember whether it was too violent for them to release. They said it was too violent for them to release in theaters, or if it was too hokey, because that was another Part 3 thing.
Where the eyes kind of...
Correct. Yeah, the eyes popped out again.
That's fair.
So I don't remember which one it was, but there is, and it's out there somewhere. Because I've seen it.
Huh.
I just don't remember where.
I feel like it doesn't really need it though.
No, not at all. I think it's the fact that it's not an intense collapse. Like it's really subtle. It's a little pop in the side. They're not like he's not folding the head into itself. I think it was really, for lack of better words, tasteful.
Yeah.
It works really well. That's one hell of a way to kill somebody too.
Yeah, right. So then the sheriff heard the shots and the screaming, comes running out. Tommy and Megan show up. The sheriff went back into the cabin, got all the boys because he saw Nancy after, like, she runs up, just going, oh, blah, blah, blah. Gets all the boys, brings them all into the girls' cabin, puts them all in there, and he goes, get under the beds. Don't come out until I return. Yeah. We see kids that dive to the floor. Like, there is a moment where there is someone airborne.
Yeah, he fucking dive bombs under the bed.
One kid grabs the gerbils, one kid grabs a Raggedy Ann. There's one kid fucking swan diving out here. It's great.
That's me.
Yeah. So the sheriff sees Jason. He starts walking towards him, shoots him with a shotgun. He goes down for a very extended shot of, all right, when's it gonna happen? It's gonna pop up, and there he is. All right, bang. All right, okay.
There's a whole little roll.
Yep, one roll, sit back up. Third shot, roll, sit back up, out of shotgun.
Yep.
All right, go to a smaller caliber.
The smallest caliber ever.
Yeah, it does nothing.
Let me grab my pop gun real quick.
Bang, bang. You're supposed to be dead. I got you. Oh shit. It's basically like the paintball gun all over again.
And he puts up a fucking fight after that, like.
Oh, yeah. No, he takes off first, and it's a great shot of watching the actor, the sheriff, run into the woods while C.J. Graham, who plays a fantastic Jason. As if I already haven't said it enough, this is my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It's a great portrayal of Jason, brand new zombie Jason.
Yeah.
Nothing against Kane Hodder, but I love this one.
For good reason, too.
Yeah.
I mean, zombie, it's so weird to me that the previous Jason was slow, sluggish, and then we have this reanimated zombie version, and Homeboy's fast as fuck.
Yeah, but he's only walking in part 3 and 4, and some of 2. He was running a little bit, but you wouldn't really see it much.
No. And it's like, he's also nimble as a cat.
Yeah, fucking
Homeboy's
climbing
just
out of trees,
scaling
jumping.
trees in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just imagining if somebody looked up, they just see Jason hunched over like a gargoyle. Like, no, look straight ahead. The image is ruined if you look up. Fuck. All right.
I'm not here. Covers his eyes again.
You can't see me. Oh God. So Tommy and Megan show up. Megan goes, "Oh look, they're here." Goes to check the counselor cabin, and Tommy's like, "No, Megan, wait!" Turns out, Jason took Eyebrows McGee and painted the inside of that cabin with her body. And there is no body anywhere.
Nope.
Basically slammed her against a wall so hard she went...
She turned into red mist.
Seriously. Now, Tommy, just imagine, that's what her dad was going to do to you.
Seriously.
Just with a bullet.
Intense.
Oh my God. So she starts screaming. She goes and then checks on the kids, finds all the kids in the girls' cabin. They all scream and duck back down. And she's like, oh my God, it's okay. Everybody come over here. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. You're all safe. Oh, one of the best lines.
Those 2 kids, the 2 boys under the bed.
Yep. One of the best lines in the fucking movie was when the sheriff comes in and goes, all right, don't come out until I return. And the 2 kids under the bed goes, so what do you think? I think we're dead meat.
Yeah.
And then after the first screams that you hear of Megan going back out, you just hear real dead meat. So what were you going to do when you grow up? And he looks back at him like, bitch.
What were you gonna be when you grow up? That's the best line in the whole movie. That kid is awesome.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
So Megan's in the cabin, and then Jason fucking hates doors and smashes through. Kids start
I
screaming.
even think it's so much. Yeah, he hates doors. I don't think he knows how to work a doorknob.
Yeah, right?
He's just like, what is this contraption that's
my
in the way?
God.
I'll just walk through it.
Yeah. Oh,
He does
Yeah.
it twice.
yeah, he bashes through the wall. Megan was outside at that point. My mistake.
Yeah.
Megan was outside. He bashes in. She hears the screaming. She goes to check on the kids. Tommy goes, no, Megan, wait. She stops. Jason bashes out the fucking wall.
Yep.
It's a whole mismatch of this and that. Either way, Jason now goes, ooh, another person. Grabs Megan, is attempting to squeeze her. Tommy is now in the lake. He has hopped on a boat with his chains and somehow loaded the biggest fucking
It's a boulder.
rock. It's not even a rock. It's a boulder.
We skipped over the cop's fucking death.
Oh, yeah. So Jason starts going towards Megan because he hears her screaming after seeing her friend, or what's left of her friend. The sheriff comes out, goes, no, not her, tackles him to the ground, kicks him a few times, breaks a log over his face, and then takes a rock and starts bashing his
Bashing
head.
his fucking head and
Jason then,
does this.
yep,
Jason grabs him, folds him in half.
backwards.
Which
Oh,
Freddy versus Jason.
oh my god.
Jason folds a dude in half in a
Yup,
bed
in
in
a
a folding
bed.
bed.
Yep.
As soon as it happened, I was just like, wait a second. They did this in Freddy versus Jason. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, they got the idea. They just did it. And they did it the same direction. Because the Freddy versus Jason dude's laying on his stomach
Yep.
in the bed. It's like, they've done it twice now.
Yep.
Jason loves folding people in half.
When we
and popping heads.
Yeah, when we get to, we're doing an episode later on in the season about our favorite kills.
Yeah.
There is one that is like this, but it is not this one.
Okay.
So that's the one I'm holding on to. I know we
Perfect.
briefly spoke about it in planning, but
Yeah.
that one I'm playing close to the chest. So Tommy's out in a boat, basically being like, come here, I got this super awesome giant rock that didn't shatter the boat. Jason starts,
I still don't understand that. the canoe should have sunk. It
Yep.
makes no sense.
yeah, Jason beelines it for the lake, gets in the lake, which is probably fucking cold, and then goes underwater. And Tommy's just looking around like, you know what? I didn't think this far ahead.
No.
He's somewhere under the water, right? Okay, cool. Let me light the top of the water on fire. Pours the gas can from the boat, which has its little propeller and shit in back. Lights it on fire. Cool. Unsafe, very much so, because
Yeah.
you totally spilled a little bit of gas on that boat, and that's gonna come back and fucking bite you in the ass.
Which I wish it did.
Yeah,
Could you
right.
imagine if he did that and then the canoe immediately went up and he's like, wow, I've made a huge mistake.
And then Jason's like, I don't have to do shit. They're coming down here to me.
Jason ties him up.
Yeah.
End of movie.
Yeah. So Jason pops up, tries taking down Tommy. Tommy puts the chain loop around his head, which the boat is starting to crack.
Yep.
Again, how it hasn't at this point, or again, Tommy's been lifting since he was 10 years old or whatever in part 4. Either way, Jason then pops back up on fire, slams the boat in half. He starts sinking with the rock attached to him. He's kind of like drowning, like, ah, shit. He grabs Tommy's leg, and I thought this was the end of Tommy originally, as we were all supposed to.
Yeah.
But, so he starts grabbing him, squeezing on his head, and like squeezing him, choking him.
Yep.
I thought he was going to like do the skull crush again. No, he just lets him float back up to the top, and it's like, he's fine.
Yeah, he's successfully crushed one skull.
Yeah.
Attempted 2 more times.
Yeah.
Failed.
Him and Michael loves crushing heads.
Michael's better.
Michael's definitely better because
Way
Michael,
better.
Yeah, Michael actually does it. So Jason's now under the water. Megan comes rushing out because she sees Tommy's floating body.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the kids, Nancy goes, "Is he killed?"
Is he killed?
Yes, he's dead now.
I'm so curious if that was scripted that way, or they were like, all right, now you're just going to respond. Like, did he die? Is he dead? And it's a kid, and the kid was just like, is he killed? And be like, you know what? God, fuck it. Just leave it in.
Damn it. This fucking
These goddamn children.
had one job. Actually, Nancy had basically the entire child story propped upon her back, that and the dead meat kids.
Yep.
But Megan runs out and dives into the water, and Jason grabs her, tries pulling her down. Somehow she's much more buoyant than Tommy was, because she takes the boat prop, turns it on, and then steers it into his neck, and you just see spasming Jason start happening underwater because he's getting his throat cut by a boat prop. And then he lets go, she brings Tommy back to shore, and we just hear when the boat prop breaks his neck, and you see chunky bits come out of the prop.
Chunky bits. It looks like puke.
It really does. It really does. There's chunks of shit, which I don't think is in a neck, but it's there.
I mean, a rotted neck it might be.
You know, that's fair. It's all the maggots that
Yeah, right.
were brushed off his face in the beginning of the movie.
It's the Beatles.
Yeah. Damn you, Deputy 5. Which he's still locked up in the goddamn precinct, too.
That never even crossed my mind.
Yeah. So let's see. Tommy's truck is
He
out there.
survives.
Yeah, Tommy's truck is out in the middle of nowhere. Deputy Fife is sitting in the friggin' jail cell. The kids should technically still be under the beds because the sheriff said, don't come out until I return.
Right.
Bitch ain't returning.
No.
And yet you all got out, so you all can't follow directions. You're the worst. So she brings Tommy back to land, gives him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because they're in love or whatever.
Kinky.
Yeah. Tommy's alive and goes, it's over. Jason's home. Fade to the next day at the lake, which it's a zoom in. You see Jason floating there in an iconic image of Jason chained to the bottom of the lake. Zooms in on his eye, basically going, soon.
Yes.
I've been resurrected and part 7's happening soon. But CJ Graham would not be part of it. And that is the end of part 6 of Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Jason
buddy.
Lives.
It's one of your top threes.
One of, yes. And I think it's the only one we're going to tackle as an individual property.
Yeah. I mean, I have two that we'll be tackling as indies, and then my one franchise, which, ooh, buddy, that's going to be a fun one.
Listen, I'm here for it. I don't have a choice.
No, I mean, you do. You left me for 2 months already. Too soon, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the other one, Halloween, should be fine. It's the Universal one, which I can totally breeze through if need be.
We're going to have fun with that one.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's it for my first favorite horror film of all time, Friday the 13th, Part 6, from 1986. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking before too, and it's funny, I hadn't seen 6 in so long, but I go back regularly and watch my two favorite Friday the 13th movies, which are everybody's least favorites.
Ooh, hang on. 5?
Takes Manhattan
Yep.
and Jason X.
Really? You would put 5 over those two? Or you would think people would put 5 over those two?
Yes. I've actually met people who think 5 is enjoyable because it's a separation. It's to the Friday the 13th franchise what Halloween Season of the Witch is to the Halloween franchise.
No, but you see, Season of the Witch is good.
Damn straight it is. Underrated as fuck. You know what? It's starting to get its love.
Yeah.
I think it's starting. Speaking of,
Yes.
so I was reading up on some horror news a few days ago.
Season of the Witch reboot?
No.
Damn it.
Way better, though.
Rob Zombie's Season of the Witch?
I would fucking kill for that movie. Are you kidding me?
That should have been his Halloween
amazing.
3.
Right? Holy shit. Imagine the fucking kids' heads melting in Rob Zombie's version of that. That'd be insane. No.
Mr. Zombie, if you ever find yourself listening to this, make it happen. We're here.
Yes, please. And
We're here to
thank
help.
you. Just, Rob, make anything, man. Like, we need another. Like, The Monsters was fantastic. I don't give a shit what anyone says. That movie was so much fun.
Yeah.
No, John Carpenter announced that he is moving forward with doing exactly what he intended the Halloween movie franchise to be. So each movie was intended to be a story that took place on Halloween. It wasn't supposed to be Michael Myers. The first Halloween movie with Michael Myers was supposed to be a one and done. That was it. Then it was supposed to be Season of the Witch, and then something else, and then something else, and then something else. People loved Michael Myers so much, and how everything was working with horror at that point in time, everyone wanted a sequel.
Yeah.
it's finally happening.
Hey.
So John Carpenter's returning. I don't know if he's returning as directing. He's definitely returning as writing. But we're going to be getting Halloween, whatever, movies coming out. So, I mean, I'm fucking amped. I don't know if it's previous scripts he had that never happened or if he's writing new stuff. But we're going to be getting more, which is fucking exciting.
I'm here for it, regardless.
So, obviously, this is part of your one of your top threes. On a scale of 1 to 10 head crushes, attempted head crushes, how many attempted head crushes would you give Friday the 13th Part 6?
I would give this one a 10.
A 10?
Oh, yeah, no. Hands down, favorite Friday the 13th, 10.
I kind of figured. It is our top threes. I think no matter what,
It's going to be a 10 across
what
the
we're
board.
choosing, yeah, it's going to be a 10.
Oh, no, this is an 8. You brought a fucking 8 to your top 3? What's wrong with you?
Everything else is a 4.
You brought mediocre to your best of.
Yeah, right.
What's wrong with you?
This is definitely a 6 for me, intended.
Get the fuck out.
I mean, it's my only reason it's getting a 6 is just for the pointless mid-story shit that doesn't
Yeah.
hold up or hold any water to the main story as a whole. They could have done more character building on some of the main characters, but then we got all this other mid-film shit for no reason other than
Kills.
cool kills.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Like, the engaged couple literally could have chosen not to go on a picnic in the middle of the night and they would have been alive.
They were on screen for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think I'm being generous. I don't even think they were on screen for 5 minutes.
No.
It's shit like that it's like, all right, are we filling time or are we just trying to get cool kills? Like,
I feel like it's the kills side of things.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. Next episode,
Ooh.
we're going to spoil on Spoiler Sleepover. We'll be doing one of my top threes, which is, speaking of John Carpenter, we're going to be doing John Carpenter's The Thing.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, buddy.
I love this movie so much.
Me too. It never gets old. The practicals are by far the best practicals I have personally ever seen in a movie ever.
I'm so ready.
Puppetry, reverse shots, fucking flame fucking throwers.
Yep. Keith David.
Yes, an ending that nobody knows what actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best shit ever. But
There is a theory, which remind me to talk about when we get there, but there is a theory.
there is.
Yep.
I know the theory also.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
So we'll talk about that when we get there. But yes, let us know what you think, and let us know where Part 6 of Friday the 13th ranks in your personal ranking system.
Please do.
Whether it be about the Fridays in general or just horror movies in general. Do you think it's a good one? Are you wrong otherwise? And yeah, just let us know.
Yeah, hit us up on our Instagram, Spoiler Sleepover. We still have our website. You can go over to spoilersleepover.com. And you're already here, so you can find us on Spotify. If you're not listening to us on Spotify, then you're listening to us on Google Podcasts.
Which is now going away.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I got the message. Google Podcast is going away. It's going to YouTube Podcasts.
Well, then you can find us on YouTube Podcasts whenever that
Alright.
fucking happens. Is there anybody you want to thank before we sign off?
I would like to thank, I know we kind of touched on it in the last stream of this season 1, but you for keeping this alive over the past couple months. I know I said it in our live stream as well for, you keeping it alive for the past couple months, but everybody who was there to be a guest host while I was gone. Thank you very much to everybody for helping out and keeping this very strange ship afloat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And again, thank you very much for all that you continue to do.
Man, it's been fun. I'm really glad that we're able to keep it going, and I'm super amped just for what we've got planned this season too. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, obviously. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for just kicking ass and doing the new recording setup here, which is going to be really dope as long as editing goes well, which it should. Because if it went well, then you're listening to this right now.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, buddy. I want to thank, I've gotten a lot of support too throughout this, all of the guest co-hosts that have come on have supported me. I had times where I wanted to throw in the towel, many times. So I need to give a huge thank you to my girlfriend. She's really been like backing me through a lot of this and supporting me and supporting you too. Like, man, she's a fucking cheerleader for us. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm going to give a thank you out to the people that without them, we would not know each other. We wouldn't be doing this. So thanks to Camp Nightmare for just being the dopest and sickest out there, man. Yeah. So until next week, sleep tight, suckers.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Spoiler Sleepover. But the fun doesn't stop here. Go follow us on Instagram at Spoiler Sleepover and check out our website www.spoilersleepover.com. It'll be fantastic of you. So until next time, sleep tight, suckers.